1. The wise old farmer and the horse. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a wise old farmer. He was known throughout the village for his wisdom and his calm, composed nature. One day, his horse ran away. Upon hearing the news, his neighbors came to visit him. "Such bad luck," they exclaimed sympathetically. "Maybe," the farmer replied. The next day, the horse returned, bringing with it 3 wild horses. "How wonderful!" the neighbors exclaimed. "Maybe," the farmer replied. The following day, his son tried to ride one of the untamed horses, was thrown off, and broke his leg. The neighbors again came to offer their sympathy. "Such bad luck," they said. "Maybe," the farmer replied. The next day, military officials came to the village to draft young men into the army. Seeing that the farmer's son had a broken leg, they passed him by. The neighbors congratulated the farmer on his good fortune. "Maybe," the farmer replied. Moral: life is full of ups and downs. What seems like misfortune might turn out to be a blessing in disguise, and vice versa. Stay calm and don't rush to conclusions. 2. The clever village girl. In a quaint village, there was a clever young girl named Rani. She was known for her intelligence and quick wit. One day, a wealthy but arrogant man from a nearby town visited the village. He wanted to show off his knowledge and prove that no one in the village was smarter than him. So, he decided to challenge the villagers. He stood in the village square and announced, "I will ask 3 riddles. If anyone can answer them correctly, I will give them a bag of gold. If they fail, they must bow down to me." Ronnie accepted the challenge. The man smirked, thinking it would be an easy win for him. He asked his first riddle. "I am not alive, but I grow. I do not have lungs, but I need air. I do not have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Ronnie thought for a moment and confidently answered, "Fire." The man was taken aback, but continued with his second riddle. "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Ronnie quickly replied, "An echo." The man was now visibly irritated, but moved on to his final riddle. He thought long and hard before saying, "I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter but you can't go inside. What am I?" Ronnie smiled and said, "A keyboard." Defeated, the man handed over the bag of gold to Ronnie. The villagers cheered for her cleverness. Moral: true intelligence is not about showing off or underestimating others. It's about using knowledge wisely and with humility. 3. The honest woodcutter. Once upon a time, there was a humble woodcutter who lived on the edge of a forest. He was very poor, but was known throughout the village for his honesty. One day, while chopping wood near a river, his axe slipped from his hands and fell into the water. The river was deep, and the axe was his only means of livelihood. The woodcutter sat on the bank of the river, lamenting his misfortune. Suddenly, the river goddess appeared before him. She asked, "Why are you crying, good woodcutter?" The woodcutter explained his predicament, and the goddess, feeling sorry for him, decided to help. She dived into the river and emerged with a shiny golden axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked. The woodcutter replied, "No, that's not my axe." The goddess then dived in again and brought up a silver axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked. Again the woodcutter replied, "No, that's not my axe." The goddess dived into the river once more and finally brought up the woodcutter's old rusty iron axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked. The woodcutter's face lit up with joy. "Yes, that is my axe," he exclaimed. The goddess was so impressed with the woodcutter's honesty that she gave him all 3 axes as a reward. Moral: honesty is always rewarded, even if it takes time. Being truthful and straightforward will lead to good fortune. Feel free to let me know if you'd like more stories. And 4. The 3 Brothers and the Magical Tree. In a peaceful village, there lived 3 brothers who inherited their father's small piece of land. The eldest brother was lazy, the middle one was greedy, but the youngest was hard-working and kind-hearted. One day, while working in the field, the youngest brother found a magical tree with sparkling golden leaves. The tree spoke to him, "I can grant a wish for each of you, but only if you speak from your heart." The youngest brother immediately informed his older brothers. Excited, they all came to see the magical tree. The eldest brother went first and wished, "I want to become a king with great wealth." The tree granted his wish, but he soon became overwhelmed with responsibility and lost everything due to his laziness. The middle brother wished, "I want all the gold in the world to be mine." The tree granted his wish too, but he became so greedy that he couldn't trust anyone. His wealth made him lonely, and he was never truly happy. The youngest brother, when it was his turn, humbly said, "I wish for happiness and well-being for myself, my brothers, and everyone in the village." The tree smiled and granted his wish. He remained a humble farmer, loved by all in the village. His brothers learned from their mistakes and began to live simple, content lives. Moral: greed and laziness lead to downfall, while a kind heart and selflessness bring true happiness. 5. The Cunning Fox and the Wise Rooster. In a serene village surrounded by dense forests, there lived a wise rooster who woke up the entire village with his morning crow. A cunning fox from the forest often heard the rooster's crow and wanted to catch him for a delicious meal. One day, the fox decided to put his plan into action. He approached the rooster and said, "Oh, wise rooster, I bring you wonderful news. The animals have decided to end their disputes and live in peace. Let us celebrate this great event together. Come down and join me." The rooster, sensing danger, replied, "That sounds great. I will come down, but wait a moment while I call my friends." He then looked far into the distance and started calling, "Dogs, dogs, come here quickly." Hearing this, the fox became nervous and asked, "Why are you calling the dogs?" The rooster cleverly replied, "Well, if all animals are to live in peace, I'm sure the dogs will also want to join the celebration." Realizing that his trick had been discovered, the fox quickly ran away into the forest, never to bother the rooster again. Moral: stay vigilant and use your wit to outsmart those with ill intentions. 6. The Poor Woman's Generosity. In a small village, there lived a poor woman named Amina. She was kind and generous, always willing to help others, even though she had little for herself. One cold winter day, a hungry traveler came to her doorstep and asked for food. Amina welcomed him in and offered him the last piece of bread she had. The traveler, who was actually a disguised angel, noticed her generosity and decided to bless her. After finishing the meal, he said, "You have shown great kindness to a stranger. For your generosity, you will be blessed with wealth and happiness." The next day, when Amina went to her kitchen, she found a jar filled with gold coins. She used the wealth not only to improve her own life, but also to help her neighbors. She built a small school for the village children and a clinic for the sick. Word of her kindness spread throughout the village, and everyone loved her dearly. Even with her newfound wealth, she remained humble and continued to help those in need. Moral: true wealth comes from generosity and kindness. When you give selflessly, blessings find their way to you. These stories illustrate timeless lessons about wisdom, honesty, humility, kindness, and the power of doing good for others. Would you like more stories? Or is there a particular type of story you're interested in?